Trevor, how hard was it to get in a rhythm offensively with some of the defensive struggles? And were you surprised, I guess, with the way kind of the game went with kind of getting out of hand so quickly?
Yeah, I mean, obviously going into these games, I think we prepared really well. We had a good week and a half or so of practice. You never expect that. Obviously, we were confident. We were prepared, like I said. But in games like that, there's been times the defense has had to pick us up, and this is just one of those nights. We could have used a few more stops for sure, but they kind of needed us to pick them up, and there was a few times where we just weren't playing complimentary football for too long. I mean, when we're punting and they're scoring pretty much every drive for a quarter or so, I mean, it can get out of hand quick. So I think we weren't, we were kind of pulling in two different directions in that sense as far as just ball control. And then, obviously, Ohio State played a really good game.
Or Trevor needs to shave his stash.
Please mute if you're not speaking.
Thank you. But anyways, I don't remember what I was saying, to be honest. But Ohio State, they played a heck of a game. Got to give it to them. Obviously, they kicked our butt tonight. Still love this team. Got a lot of confidence in who we are. And super proud to be at Clemson in the year we had. Obviously, didn't end the way we wanted to, but it was special. Wouldn't have wanted to be anywhere else. But man, that's just didn't get it done tonight for a lot of reasons. I mean, you can look back at the game and pick a few things, but in games like this, you just got to play well all the way around, and we didn't really do that tonight.
Go ahead, David Hale.
Trevor, I think the mustache is coming in nicely for what it's worth.
Thank you, man.
You have known Justin for a long time and seen his game evolve over the years. Of course, the two of you guys have gotten a lot of comparisons. I know this is probably a very hard moment for you, but do you have some enthusiasm for seeing his success? And what do you make of the game that he played, given the hit that he took, the pain that he was in, and all that was on the line there?
Yeah, I mean, just he played great. You look at, I don't even know what his stats were, but he played awesome. Made a ton of plays, took care of the ball. Really was just super efficient. Found the open guys. I mean, that's what playing quarterback is. He played great. It was tough. Obviously, I know Justin for sure. Kind of known him for a while, but whoever's on the other sideline, I'm hoping that they don't play great against us just because they want to win. But I'm happy for him, man. I'm happy he played a great game. Hats off to him and Ohio State in general, but man, he played a hell of a game for sure.
What up, YouTube? It's Jay Coffee Talk. Tapping back in, and we're talking about some college football, man. My moderator, Murder Man, big shout out to him. He's from Ohio, Cleveland, Ohio. And he hit me last night like, Jay, come on, man. Can't Ohio State get any love? We just smashed Clemson. Like, do some coverage on this. And he's absolutely right. We got to talk about this, man. As you guys know, I talk about music, news, sports. It's a lot to keep up on. But Ohio State definitely made some history yesterday. They annihilated Clemson. All we hear about when it comes to college football over the past couple years is Trevor Lawrence. What kind of shampoo does he use? What NFL team is going to tank and get him in the draft, which, it looks like he's going to go to the New York Jets. But we got to talk a little bit about that in a moment. And you guys even hear them in the press conference when they're talking to Trevor Lawrence. They're joking with him about his mustache. And Trevor, don't feel bad. I could not grow facial hair until I was like 31 years old. Dead ass serious. I'm not even clowning around. But he should have definitely shaved that mustache, man, because the way it's kind of coming in funny like that kind of is looking like infamous mustache of one of the most horrible people to ever walk the face of this earth that I can't mention. I'm sure you guys know exactly who I'm talking about. But you heard Trevor, man. He was like, shout out to Justin Fields. I'm happy for him. He got the W, and I give him definitely some props for that. He was very humble. You know what I'm saying? Seems Trevor Lawrence, he's become this mega celebrity or whatever. But he seems like a cool dude, I guess. I don't know. You guys hit the comments and let me know what you think about that. But Fields outshined him, to say the least. You know what I mean? Like, all this streaks Clemson's been having. I remember I covered a game earlier in this season when Lawrence didn't play, and their backup even went out there. I believe it was against Notre Dame. They ended up losing, even though the backup went out there and put up crazy numbers. But, you know, then they ended up getting that revenge. They beat Notre Dame later on. But none of that matters. None of that matters because Ohio State went out there and they beat them. They smashed them. They really did. You heard Trevor Lawrence talking about how the game just got out of hand so quick. For a whole quarter, they were punting and Ohio State was scoring. And if you look at the stats, man, you know, Lawrence was 33 of 48, 400 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. Fields, 22 of 28, 385 yards, 6 touchdowns, and 1 interception. You know, Fields definitely showed him up out there on the big stage, so to speak, you know, in this college playoff football. But then if you look at rushing, Clemson only had like 40-something yards, 50-something yards. Ohio State, 256 yards rushing, as Sermon got 193 of those yards by himself for Ohio State. And how about Olave? 6 receptions for 132 yards, and 2 of those 6 touchdowns. Sermon had one on the ground as well with that big day rushing. So there's 3 of Ohio State's touchdowns between them. But this is so big, man. This is so big for Ohio State. Like I said, once again, shout out to my moderator, Murder Man. Can they go on and beat Alabama? Can they get that national championship? Everyone hit the comments with your thoughts on that. But like I said in the beginning of the video, a little later, which is right now, we got to talk about this whole NFL draft and Trevor Lawrence and Fields, right? Because Elliot Eisler, another great supporter of the channel, him and Murder Man were talking in that comment thread where Murder Man said, Jay, come on, man, give Ohio State, give my Buckeyes some love, some coverage. They were debating about Fields and Lawrence, who's the better quarterback. Many people out there feel Trevor Lawrence is kind of overrated, I guess. It's wild, man, whenever you're talking about quarterbacks and then the NFL draft. Like, you just never know how someone is going to pan out. You know, I talk about this all the time on my channel. There's been so many great college quarterbacks who've won the Heisman and all that and just could not cut it in the NFL. And then, you know, there's been guys who are a guy like Lawrence, who turned out to be busts. And then there's guys that no one knew, you know, what they were going to do, or that they were or had NFL potential. You know what I mean? Like, it's always so crazy trying to gauge what a quarterback can do on that pro level. And then we look at the way the NFL, the game offenses and everything has changed a lot, kind of the evolution of the game. I don't know. You know what I mean? I'm just kind of freestyling. Like, when I make these videos, a lot of times I go, you know, I have general knowledge always of what I'm talking about. A lot of times I really go in, dig in with the research, but I'm just kind of honestly freestyling on this one. You know, with Ohio State, you always hear about how their quarterbacks can't play in the NFL, or sometimes they just don't get the chance. Like, I don't know. Like, what do you guys feel about Fields? From my understanding too, like, hit the comments if I may be wrong, guys. Fields still has more eligibility. Like, there's a chance, and he hasn't said for certain if he is going to declare for the draft or not. But if he did, right, especially if they go on and win that title game, do you think there's any effect or any question? Is Lawrence still going to be the for sure number 1 pick in the draft, or could Fields be a threat to that if he does indeed declare for the draft? You know what I mean? It's crazy, that number 1 pick. Like, if you guys recall the year Cam Newton went number 1 in the draft, there was that whole situation where he left Florida. He was behind Tebow on the roster. He had a scholarship to Florida. He left Florida. Then he had to go play like Division 2 or 3 or something like that for a year. Then he came back to Auburn. You know what I'm saying? He was the starter. And then like mid-season, the talk about Cam Newton started heating up. And then next thing you know, he wins the Heisman, he wins the national championship, and he goes number 1 in the draft, which that year my Buffalo Bills were picking number 6 at the draft, and a lot of people projected that Cam Newton would go to Buffalo. Like, I can't remember who all the talk was going to be the number 1 pick that year, what player it was, but it all changed so quick. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of nuts with the draft. All the analytics and scouting and everything, all these teams do on all these players coming out of college. Sometimes that number 1 draft, like who's going to go at the last moment, can change and everything. You know what I mean? Like, you guys ever seen that movie Draft Day? Oh, another quick sidebar, totally like random. Whoever seen, was it 21 Jump Street or 22 Jump Street, the remake, the new one with Jonah Hill and I forget the other guy's name, slipping my mind right now. But anyways, remember the quarterback in that? They go back to college. That dude reminds me, Bazooka, they were calling him. He reminds me of Trevor Lawrence reminds me of him, I should say. But anyways, for real, guys, like, who's the better quarterback of Fields and Lawrence in your opinion? And if Fields does indeed declare for the draft, could he be a threat? Like I said, especially if he goes on to beat Bama, could he be a threat to that number 1 pick status or whatever? Like, I'm just curious to know what everyone thinks. I mean, he definitely went out there and was by far the better quarterback in this bowl game, this playoff game, right? Like, hit the comments with your thoughts on everything we're talking about here. And then I was just saying something a little bit about college quarterbacks. Remember Terrell Pryor? It was kind of weird. He struggled a little bit in the NFL, but I don't know. I thought he could kind of hang, but then next thing you know, like I thought he was pretty good and could hang at it and compete at a pro level. But then we ended up seeing him convert into wide receiver, and he had some success at receiver, and then that was that. He pretty much disappeared from the game. And how about Cardale Jones? Went out there and won a title and was actually drafted by my Buffalo Bills. And I thought, he was behind Tyrod Taylor and E.J. Manuel on the depth chart. And, he never really got a shot. He ended up going to the Chargers, never got a shot. What is it with Ohio State quarterbacks, man? It's weird. It's like certain colleges, there's a stigma about the quarterbacks. As we know, USC is always kind of known to be guys that couldn't really hang and compete in the NFL, like Sanchez, which he went to the conference championship and everything like that. But ultimately, I feel like Sanchez is kind of looked at as a bust. You guys comment and let me know if you would agree with that statement. Rob Johnson, who came to Buffalo, one of the worst quarterbacks ever. That guy was trash, man. But USC has that kind of stigma about them. And then Ohio State's quarterbacks, there's just always kind of a stigma surrounding them that, they can't make it in the NFL. And a lot of times they don't even get the chance, or they do, and it's abandoned so quickly. Also, hit the comments, like I said, guys, because I'm just kind of freestyling this video. Some other Ohio State quarterbacks, that got drafted and it didn't pan out for them in the NFL. I'm just naming Terrell and Cardale Jones is just like 2 that popped in my head right now. As I said, I'm just kind of freestyling this one. But let's talk. Just curious to know everyone's takes on the game, all that. And then also on the whole Fields-Lawrence debate and everything else I was touching on. I'd like to hear from everyone in them comment threads. If you're new to this channel, guys, on J Coffee Talk, it's all about hearing from you guys, the people. As I stated, I cover a lot of different topics on this channel: music, news, sports, conspiracy theories, all kinds of different stuff. It is a lot to keep on. I seen a couple people comment and kind of were like, oh man, I wish, on this, you talked about this or that. It's like, it's kind of hard running a channel. It's some work. I'm not complaining about it or whatever, but I've thought at times of separating the content up and putting it on different channels and stuff like that. But, you know, it's took a lot just to build this one platform up, you know? So it is what it is. But I really, for real, thank you guys. Like, I appreciate the support and the interaction with my videos so much, you know? I just love talking about things that interest me. I love having like this podcast type, like platform. And I love talking with you guys. That's what the J Coffee Talk is all about. We coffee talk it up. So hit the comments. Make sure you tune into the lives where you can call in. We'll try to get another one of those going tonight. But how about them Buckeyes, man? I'm out of here. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, and I'm gone.